at the Star Series. The game is actually underway, so I'm going to bring us all into the lobby right now. We are waiting for some of the players to load, but I'm excited, man. We're going to see G, we're going to see Dare hopefully look to come back from what was not a very good performance at the Kiev land. They were definitely, I think it's, most people would agree they were the number 2 ranked team going into that match. I believe in terms of the actual seedings, they were number 2. And so hopefully they can redeem themselves. Let's see, are we going to see the Dare that we, over the past 2 months or so, or not even over the past month or so, where they went 16-1 in 17 matches, or are we going to see the Dare that struggled? It remains to be seen, but I'm looking forward to it.
Well, we'll see it very, very soon right now. One thing I want to point out as we're walking into this draft about Synderen is I rarely see Synderen being outpicked. And, I mean, he's a great captain. We all know that about him. But Synderen is one of those few captains that is not afraid to go outside of the box. A lot of teams like, oh yeah, let's go into whatever other team is picking. But Synderen's like, you know what? Let's pick an Omni Knight. Let's pick a Viper. Let's pick a Pugna. And those 3 heroes were employed by him in the first weeks of the Premier League. And there's no surprise that mTw is currently, believe it or not, leading in terms of TPL. They are the only team with 2 points, and they could go up to 3 points here today, depending how things go. And that's by far leading everyone else. So mTw is a team to stay for the next month or so. They look very strong right now, and they're going to continue to look strong.
We are seeing 2 pushing heroes banned right off the bat. Prophet and Broodmother immediately banned. Of course, 2 very, very decent laning heroes, but mostly going to be picked for their pushing power early on. So, nothing too surprising so far. But I definitely agree with what you were saying. And I'm looking forward to these bans. Are we going to see Leshrac ban? Are we going to see Beastmaster ban? To me, I think Leshrac has been trending sharply upwards recently. And I'd be kind of surprised not to see him either banned or picked up in those first 2 picks. Just because of the pushing power leads to map control, which leads to a big early game advantage that you can snowball into a win with.
Yeah, for anyone that just joined us, hey everyone, welcome to the broadcast for the Premier League. This is mTw versus Dare, brought to you guys by ldOTAcommentaries.com. This is a best of 3 series between the 2 teams for week 3 of the Premier League. And I'm Luminous, of course, and joining me alongside was LD from ldOTAcommentaries.com. And there's a Brewmaster being banned. That hero's been kind of in and out of this equation during the entire weekend. We haven't seen him in the Star Series, but everywhere else in the Pro Dota 2, in the Premier League himself. Like, we saw a lot of Brewmaster picks and bans. And that hero, again, also, I think it's here to stay. He does so much dirty work in both team fight and counter pushing, which is kind of what the metagame is currently about.
Radiant team ban.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Brewmaster has shown himself to be pretty scary. Sorry I was a little bit distracted there. Had to update the scoreboard, but we should be good to go now. So, pretty much all pushing here is being banned. And then you have the Brewmaster. As you mentioned, a pretty strong team fighter. He's not a bad pusher himself. Clap is a good pushing spell. And of course, whenever that ultimate is up, everyone runs. It really doesn't matter what stage of the game you're at. Maybe if you're an anti-mage with a max inventory, then you don't run. But probably even then you're going to be careful. So I would definitely consider him a decent pushing threat. Similar to a Night Stalker at night, if he has a good start, he's going to scare everyone away, which allows their team to push. So 5 very aggressive early game heroes being banned out. And we'll see where they go from here. And the respect ban comes out in Storm from Synderen.
Yep, and also there's a respect towards Synderen with the Enigma being banned. Chen gets immediately snapped up here. Art style, of course, his Chen is world famous. He did play it for when they won $1 million for the International, so he gets to play his Chen. Meanwhile, though, they are giving away Invoker and perhaps a Windrunner as well to mTw. Now, Beastmaster, we talked about how both teams love this hero, so they value it very highly over heroes such as Windrunner, who is predominantly being picked up by every other team. So Beastmaster is going to be the second pick, as you see Windrunner being picked up immediately by Artstyle.
Yeah, this is a very fast draft. Kind of a welcome change of pace, to be honest. Some of the matches we cast on Saturday, the teams were eating well into their extra time. Leshrac going to be the 3rd pick, so you see almost all of the sort of signature heroes that we mentioned in the pregame. Immediately they're picked up or banned. Of course, we didn't mention Enchantress or Chen, but of course these teams, like pretty much all good teams, love to run those aggressive junglers. This is going to give mTw some decent early game to go with that Invoker, who, they're going to be looking for Synderen to be that mid-game force. For every time I've seen them, he's played the Invoker. I'd be very surprised if he doesn't here. Meanwhile, Riki getting banned out. And, Dare, that's another one of Dare's signature heroes. They love to pair him with the Storm or the Queen of Pain. Just gives you crazy map control and really strong ganking presence. But he's not going to be available this time.
Yeah, very surprisingly, Ancient Aberration got the ban as well. Now, Ancient Aberration definitely is a hero that could shut down Chen a little bit, especially the fact that the A ultimate does prevent healing coming in. But that also makes me think that Arsa might be thinking into an Omni Knight because, Ancient Aberration shuts down even more healing, right? Or maybe even another hero such as the Necrolite. Of course, I'm just being a fanboy and hoping for Necrolite picks. But there is a possibility. Generally, you don't see Ancient Aberration ban. It's not a hero worthy of ban because not many teams is picking it up. But again, Synderen is a mastermind of really utilizing under-big heroes and putting it to be a very effective. Don't be surprised if Synderen go into a Pugna hero. You can really shut down heroes such as Chen and Lesh with his Nether Blast and Nether Ward. Nether Ward zaps pretty hard if you're a hero like Lesh, who has low HP but very costly spell.
In one of the recent matches, they did in fact fifth pick the Pugna, and that was versus an extremely strong sort of wombo combo team lineup, which notably featured a Darkseer. This hero was making all kinds of waves at the Star Series LAN. There was a couple of moments where Darkseer vacuumed into a 4 or 5 man black hole in the last few matches, which were awesome to watch, I have to say. And I'm surprised. I'm a little surprised he hasn't been picked or banned yet, honestly. Both teams have room for him. I feel like if anyone picked him right now, it'd probably be mTw, as Dara would have absolutely no late game if they went for a Darkseer.
Well, I mean, there's an argument that Darkseer gives you late game, but yeah, I'm not buying that argument. At least not very much so. It seems like the Dire is very kind of set up with the supporting lineup, with the Crystal Maiden and the Chen, and even on their non-supports, the Windrunner and Lesh, they're very squishy. Yeah, you can make them a little bit stronger with items, but you want a really hard-hitting carry, or at least common. Yeah, there you go. The Morphling's gonna get picked up. Shotgun Morphling, Lincoln's favorite Morphling. I think against a Beastmaster and Venge, it has to be a Lincoln Morphling, right?
Yeah, well, the argument can be made that Enchantress Slow will remove that Lincoln's. Of course, Magic Missile can remove it, or Swap can, and then you have the Roar to follow up. But it gives him a little bit of survivability. There's a decent amount of single target nukes on MTW side, but it's not completely overwhelming. Now, the one thing about the Morphling I think is really cool is he's being paired with a Chen. So, of course, Morphling can be very aggressive as Chen's nearby, and Chen can always send him back. If you try to gank Morphling, well, he's already almost impossible to kill to begin with. All four of his abilities can be used as escape spells between the Strength Morph, between the Waveform, between the Adaptive Strike, and of course the Replicate. All of these spells can be used to juke your opponents or hang on and survive. And then just when you're about to kill that Morphling, well, Chen sends him home or heals him. So that could be extremely frustrating. They're going for an Aura strat here on MTW side as they picked up the the Shadow Fiend, the Vengeful Spirit, and the Beastmaster. Of course, Enchantress can get some Auras with creeps. Very, very potent potential synergy there.
LD, you are absolutely right that they're going for Aura strategy, but when you see a Shadow Fiend picked up, I can't believe you went, oh man, they're going for Aura strategy. It's a Shadow Fiend. Do we ever see Shadow Fiend anymore? Come on, it's a Shadow Fiend. Get some hype in this cast, bro. I'm so hyped up to see where they'll be laning it, where they're going to be playing this, what build it's going to be. It's going to be the standard Shadow Fiend build, but is it going to be a Blink kind of Requiem So, BKB Requiem So? I am hyped up for this one.
Well, you talked about non-standard builds for Shadow Fiend. I guess the most non-standard build I've ever seen in a pub game was a Shadow Fiend who just completely skipped Raise. Went for Necromastery and Presence of the Dark Lord. He right-clicked hard, but he didn't get very many early game kills, and we ended up losing that game. I was jungling on Pudge. So that was a very unorthodox game to say the least.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see that this game. Just a hunch.
That's the most unorthodox I could expect. Yeah, you're totally right, though. This is not a hero we see a lot. He's pretty squishy early on, and a lot of these heroes are strong gankers. Chen can dive him, Crystal Maiden can hold him in place and slow him down. Leshrac can just murder him with Edict. Of course, Windrunner Morphling gives you some good range to jump him. So if he gets caught out, if he does not have a good start, he's going to have a hard time catching up. At the same time, it gives them some nice late-game insurance. Not only because Shadow Fiend is a pretty strong late gamer, but then you couple him with all these auras, and suddenly he's on par with the Morphling. Of course,
Yeah,
equal items, a 1v1, Morphling will probably win in the late game, but with the support of this, with the help of this supporting cast, I could easily see Shadow Fiend taking this late if he gets the start he needs.
and I do believe he's going to get the start he needs because I think MTW will put him on the bot lane with Avenge as support. Synderen's going to be going mid with the Invoker. The fact that he's going to go Blaze Attack is a sign that he's going to go Crosswalk spell, should give him early access into that Ghost Walk if he is going to be ganked. And the reason I bring up the ganking is that my mic sounds weird. Does that sound weird to you?
It sounds okay to me, but maybe we should try restarting the call.
Okay.
Okay,
Sounds
I'll
good.
call you right back. Hey Lumi, welcome back. We are going to see both teams heading down towards this bottom jungle. Looks like Arts or Dara's squad wants to get up some offensive jungle wards for that Chen, also shut down the Enchantress. The question is, will they be able to do so? They're actually pretty strong at level 1. Well, they have a Chen, so he's not very strong, but Invoker's not a very good level 1 fight hero either. This should be an interesting engagement if they go on each other.
I think they're going to just back off and don't really want to fight this. You don't want to fight against a Crystal Maiden, Lesh, Windrunner, and Morphling early on because they have some big AoE nukes. It looks like the wards are going to be dropped. The question is, will there be sentry wards ready? I do believe Enchantress has sentries. Yes, she does. So Emilia's going to get removed to protect her own jungle. Yes. So we are going to see the Invoker mid, like I pointed out earlier, has the early access into Ghostwalk if he's going to go for the Quadsplex build because there's going to be so much ganking coming from the Chen and Crystal Maiden early on, especially with things like the Smoke of Deceit, which is not picked up on Chen, at least not yet. And of course, Beastmaster is going to be on the top lane. He's going to have a fairly tough time, but he could do it. He could do it.
He should be able to survive. He might not have the best farm, but hopefully he'll get some decent levels. It looks like we're going to see a trade. The Morphling's going to get a lot of farm. The Shadow Fiend's going to get a lot of farm. And then the X factor is really going to be which jungler has more success early on. Nice dewarding coming out from Kebab. He is able to clean that the Magic Bush ward up immediately. Good anticipation from him. We've actually cast a number of teams who don't deward right away, and you can see it really hurts their jungler. It really hurts their safe lane as they're not able to pull early on. So I expect to see fucking Mad doing some pulling, especially once the Shadow Fiend gets a couple levels. Speaking of that bottom lane, Sansa is already at half health.
Yep. I mean, he's really going to get kept back, especially with Magic Missile and Vengeful Spirit. Sort of a spammable spell, especially if you have two clarities like Vengeful Spirit does. We haven't introduced a player, so let me take the time to do so right now. Shasuga is going to be playing the Shadow Fiend last thing under that Radiant Tower. Effing Man is going to be playing the Vengeful Spirit on the support, again, keeping Santa back. On the jungle here, we have Kebab on the Enchantress, and on the mid lane, we have Cinderin playing the Invoker. On the top, we have Funzy on that so fun side lane.
Yeah, Funzy is eating a little bit of harassment from Crystal Maiden. They're trading hits. Funzy actually getting the better of that. Of course, Beastmaster is a very nice starting base armor. Gank coming in towards the top lane. Artstyle is not even smoked up. He's just walking in right here. And it looks like Funzy's going to play a little ring around the Rosie and walk out the other side. Nice anticipation by him. He doesn't have a ward. I don't think he has the Hawk yet. Yeah, he's only level 1, so just good map awareness to be able to back off there. Meanwhile, for the Dire, let's introduce the players for them as well. G is going to be playing that Leshrac solo mid. Sansa going to be on Windrunner in the Suicide lane. Artstyle handling the Chen in the jungle. Defensively, from the looks of it, Dubas is the stand-in on that Crystal Maiden. And Black is another stand-in playing that Morphling.
And so, yeah, we were right. There was going to be two stand-ins, excuse me. But G's here, so it's all good. It's all good. Shasuga on the bot lane here is last sitting like an absolute champ, probably getting quite a bit of last hits. Let's see how many. You got 9 and 5.
12 souls already. That is a great start for Shadow Fiend.
Mm-hmm. And because you have 12 souls, you're not going to miss any more. I'd be very surprised if he does.
Yeah, once you get going on Shadow Fiend, it becomes exponentially easier to last hit. Normally you run into trouble when you get ganked, but it's going to be pretty hard to gank him in this lane. Enchantress making a go on Santa here. Santa able to stay just out of range. Windrun barely surviving. That was actually a lot closer than it looked. If the stomp hit, Magic Missile would have followed, and that would have been one dead Windrunner.
Yeah, I'm surprised that he even tried for it. I thought she was in range of the stomp for 1 second. But hey, again, the idea of this lane is to keep Shadow Fiend keep on farming, and he is farming, so it's all good. And they could easily transition to push Shadow Fiend. Once he gets level 5, he can mow down Creep Wave fairly quickly, and the tower on the bot lane will be brought down very soon as well.
He doesn't even really need his nukes to do it. If he just right-clicks, when you have this much damage, you can push pretty quickly as well. Of course, the raises will be his best tool for that. I was taking a look at the farm since we are seeing a trade here. They're actually neck and neck. Some more denies on Black. That's not going to matter too much. I'm actually getting a lot of lag. Looks like we have some disconnects. So unfortunately, we are seeing some server issues. Hopefully they get resolved.
Yeah, over the entire weekend, the server was kind of really messed up. A lot of the DP2 or Pro Dota 2 matches, Premier League matches, and Star Series matches were getting some lags as well. So hopefully Valve could try their best to fix it. But Kebab 10 creep kills here. Shasuga 16-6, Invoker 7-4, not the best lasting. And meanwhile Funzy having 0. Meanwhile, G on the other side here is only got 9-6 as well. Morphling on the top lane though 17-11 as we see Lesh is employing the lightning build, which is always a good sign to see from Lesh that goes to the mid lane.
Yeah, Lightning will help you to maintain that rune control. Of course, Invoker is not a very strong rune controlling hero. He doesn't have any pushing ability. He doesn't really want to leave the lane, and he doesn't have too much use for the runes. He's normally not going to have a bottle early on. So G generally should be able to get the runes, and the only X factor would be, does either jungler do a good job of denying them? And that'll be the main question. Looks like we're going to see a smoke up here. Dubas and Artstyle headed towards the middle lane, but all they have right now is a Satyr Hellcaller. I'm not sure they'll be able to get anything done. Cinderin rather does have a point Wex, so he can go into Ghostwalk if he needs to. Maybe they're going to journey all the way down to the bottom lane.
Yeah, they are. Arcel did ping to the bot tower as he smoked up, so they want to set a gank on the bot lane, maybe even wait for the 4-minute rune, although the rune is spot out by a ward. But no, it looks like they're going to do a huge wraparound, but I do believe Cinderin is ready to cold snap. Or not cold snap, ready to Ghostwalk.
Well, I hope he's ready now. Edict going out on Cinderin. Looks like they're going to be diving the tower. Oh, is he going to be able to Ghostwalk in time? He does, but the Edict is actually, the Crystal Maiden is able to clean him up while he's fading. So Cinderin just a little bit slow there. That Edict does so much damage early on.
Yep, the tower was tanking a little bit as well, but it was not enough. Crystal Maiden Frostbite does reveal invisible units for the half-second duration, and that was enough for the last moment of physical hits and whatever else. And they brought him down. Very strong gank against Invoker. Invoker, one of those very EXP-dependent heroes, as we see Arcel trying to do yet another wraparound gank. He's been journeying quite a bit across the map. But if you're getting first bloods and whatever else, that is so worth it. So worth it.
Yeah, Funzy might be in for a little bit of a hard time here. They're going to drive him back towards the tower, and then Arcel is going to be there with the backstab. But it looks like he should be okay. Arcel is just going to harass him a little bit, as there's not enough of a creep wave to get that gank going. In the bottom lane,
not the best ganking creep.
Yeah, it's definitely not. It is quite tanky. It's not the tankiest creep, but it does have a decent amount of health, but it's really more for pushing early on.
On the bot lane now, you can see that Shadow Fiend, because of the level of advantage he's been getting, I think all the supports could leave the bot lane here, and Shadow Fiend could easily solo 1v1 against Windrunner. It's not about, last animation in this case anymore. It's about the fact that Shadow Fiend could drop 2 rays on you, and you immediately are out of health. So Santa has to play very, very far away, has to really use Power Shot. One magic missile is going to do it. Santa sees Ventral Spirit coming, immediately pops a Windrun. Do not want to stand and find out what's going to be coming his way.
In the top lane, there is a 3-hero push commencing. Chen does not have any creeps, though, so they're going to have to back off. Morphling is a decent pushing hero early on, but you got to give the edge to Shadow Fiend, not only in the damage department, of course with the raises as well, and you've got this Vengeful Spirit who can do some minus armor. They could make a go on Santa. Looks like they're going to try to Magic Missile, 1 raise, 2 raises. Oh, the Windrun not able to get the 3rd raise off. Feel like they could have gotten that if Saksha had gotten just 1 more auto attack before that final raise. Unfortunately, not able to do so. So good reaction by Santa. In the end, he does escape, but he's not having a good time here at all.
Yeah, one of the things that Yaf would always say about Shadow Fiend is that you generally want to try to get the lower range of the raise in first. So when they try to run away, you always have to see raise to finish up. He switched the order a little bit, and then that also could be why he did not get the kill. But anyway, Santa, very good at surviving that. Salved up immediately with his Ring of Basilius. He could stay in the lane with, Power Shot ready to go.
Yep, Artstyle has picked up a Wildkin, so not the best ganky creep again, but this one a little bit better for pushing. Hawk gets spotted out, just doing some defensive scouting. Funzy is only level 3. He's not having a very good time. I want to take a look at who's having the better time in the suicide lane. Santa 3 creeps, 0 denies. Funzy 8-0, so I would guess that Funzy's having a slightly better time. In terms of the experience, it's slightly in favor of the Windrunner, but really not remarkable. Only a couple of creeps difference. Sentry Ward getting dropped in the middle lane. Nice dewarding from Kabaf. Must have seen that one getting placed down.
Yeah, it's not hard to see it placed down since, you have to actually stand right under the cliff to do so. But one thing I want to point out is that Shadow Fiend, as expected, 44 and 24 at 7 minutes. That is some insane farming. Like, he's literally getting about, I want to say 7 out of 8 creeps, very close to it at least, in a single wave.
Well, you say that, but we have Black as the stand-in, pretty much matching him on the Morphling. So wow. It's pretty even trade. Shadow Fiend gets going definitely a lot earlier, and Morphling needs to continue this for quite a while to really contribute in the late game. But for now, they're keeping pace, and that's really all you can expect out of your Morphling.
Now, for those of you guys who haven't really watched Shadow Fiend and played in competitive scene, one of his strongest strengths is that he reaches his peak a lot higher, a lot quicker than a lot of other carries, simply because of the fact that he used 2 rays, and that's going to be entire crew. If Santa's going to eat a magic missile, you're going to see a middle raise and a C raise. Nope, just a physical hit. That's going to do. Arcel comes to join the party, but here comes G. He won't have his stuns ready, and here comes the Nova to slow him down. Split Earth. Shadow Fiend trying to do some race before he dies, but really the nuking power of G is simply too strong. And Effing Mad will be going down as well. Drops off a Magic Missile, but a Test of Faith is going to bring him down. And that's where it becomes very difficult for Shadow Fiend. His strength is that he can farm up really quickly, but the weakness of that hero is that if he gets ganked, he loses half of his soul and a lot of plus damage. We on the top lane here, we just see Black getting a solo kill against Beastmaster.
Yeah, Beastmaster actually died behind his tower. Pretty big dive. Meanwhile, huge action on the bottom lane. Dubas in a lot of trouble. Gets Cold Snap. It's going to go down. Nice rotation from Cinderin. They're focusing art style. I think they should go back here for Santa on the Windrunner. They are going to do so. Santa goes down as well. So Invoker being played by Cinderin with a nice return kill.
Yeah, early phase move being picked up allowed him to be extremely mobile, got in team fight, and dropped off a couple of spells. And it looks like they want to transition this to a push. They do have 3 Centaur and a Troll, a lot of creeps being picked up. And this is one of the benefit of having Entrenches and not a Chen, because you could actually stack up on the creeps way earlier than a Chen could. And in terms of creep domination, Chen gets the better at the mid to late game, but right now it is all Kebab, all Enchantress.
Speaking of that, Chen, Art's still eating a Magic Missile. Looks like nobody else is in range. They're just scaring him off from the tower. One of those Centaurs was taken over, then immediately taken back by Kebab. Tower's going to go down. The question is, will this Crystal Maiden be able to deny like a boss? Effing Mad in a little bit of trouble here is going to be forced to back off. Tower does not get denied. Nice last hit coming out from Cinderin. Meanwhile, Sakshka has rotated to the middle lane. He's going to be farming there. This is a little bit more of an exposed lane, especially with no supports in range, so he's going to have to be careful. Looks like we're going to see a smoke perhaps coming out from Dare. No, they're just hanging out the secret shop. Nothing too exciting going on there. Morphling is farming in the top lane all the while.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the smoke point about Shadow Fiend in mid lane. He's one of the reasons why he's not picked frequently anymore. He used to be picked quite a bit. And the mid lane here is so easy to smoke gank, and we see pro teams, whenever they pick Shadow Fiend, they don't put it in mid anymore, because it's almost suicide to do so. But yeah, he's going to get a mid lane, and 2 rays, as he hits level 7, access into the, as we call it, the C rays and the X rays, will give you entire creep wave, and that's why he farms so much quicker than any other carry, and he reaches the peak so quickly as well. I think we've seen record times of things like 15-minute BKB and Blink as well. And once you get items so quickly compared to enemy team, it's not even fair.
Oh, Tornado catches G, double damage on Shadow Fiend. You do not want to fight that, and they are going to back off. They could definitely push with this rune. Shadow Fiend, and not only good at clearing the creep waves, he's also going to right-click like an absolute champ. This tower is not going to be happy that BD it's taken. Well, I say that, then Cinderin backs off. Looks like they're going to rotate bottom, or at least he is. Too many heroes missing right now. Sakshka up on the high ground. Pretty aggressive positioning from him. But of course, he knows he has that Vengeful Spirit in reserve, and she is level 6. If he gets into trouble, she should be able to swap him away. Now, I say that. That doesn't mean that the swap will be enough, but at least they feel it will be for now.
Ogre Club gets picked up here on Shashka. BKB is going to be his item choice. Great choice, because, I mean, if you BKB up, who is going to stop you? Aside from physical right hits, which is not really coming in any moment in the game right now.
On the bottom lane, will Cinderin get a solo kill on Santa? Santa in a lot of trouble. He has 2 magic stick charges. I don't think it's going to be enough. He is going to go down, even after popping the Windrun. Great play from Cinderin. Pick up that solo kill there. This Windrunner, man, people love to pick her, but if she gets shut down early, she dies just like any other hero.
I mean, Windrunner is one of those heroes that if you shut her down early, she could still contribute to the game, even without much items. A Shackle Shot is still a Shackle Shot, very broken. All you really need is a face boot if you're landing those Shackle Shot. Of course, she'll be getting things like Force Staff. I do believe the Chen will be going for the Mecha, considering that he is going to get the farm. Although, as I talk about Chen, he's only got Arcane Boots, no Mecha parts just yet. He is just 1, 0, and 1.
Yeah, actually, now that you mention it, it is 12 minutes in. Let's take an overall look at the item progression. Cinderin with the phase boots, he's had those for a while. Getting close to a Drum of Endurance, no surprise there. Another Aura item will go great with their lineup. Speaking of Auras, are they taking them early? Looks like Vengeful Spirit has 1 point in the Wave of Terror. Is going to go back for the Vengeance Aura, so maybe she'll max that first. It's not too often you see that, but even 1 point is still pretty nice, as it does give you a good damage boost. Beastmaster has opted for the Call of the Wild. That's interesting. Roar going out on Artstyle. Looks like they want to make a go. Artstyle going to go down immediately. Not able to do anything. Black jumps in. Effing Mad in a lot of trouble here. Funzy running for his life. I think Funzy's going to go down. Black in some trouble. He is morphing to strength rapidly. Looks like he should be able to get away. They're coming back into the fight. Tornado going out on the Windrunner, as well as the Crystal Maiden. Dubas in all kinds of trouble. Shadow Fiend joins the fight. One Ray is going to clean him up. Morphling in a lot of trouble. I think he's morphed everything to strength at this point. No, he still has some in reserve if he needs to. And all the while, G was either backstabbing mid or just trying to get in position. I don't think he was in that fight.
Invoker trying to give the chase. He does have phase, but really, Double waveform is going to get him out of there. We did see signs of miscommunication from Dare. Beastmaster and I believe the Vengeful Spirit were both solo HP, but there was no focus fire going on. It's kind of I went for one, the other went for another, and as a result, no one died here for mTw. And because Shadow Fiend picked in, the Razors was able to pick off Crystal Maiden. Invoker was able to chase quite a bit, so that fight was hugely in the favor of mTw. And mTw with the heroes, Shadow Fiend is one of those very momentum-based heroes. His momentum, once you let it go, it's gonna keep going, and it's so hard to shut him down.
Well, speaking of that momentum, they're trying to get a little bit going now. Two heroes are smoked up behind the Shadow Fiend. They're going to use him as bait. He's not a hero you want to jump on, especially with the support. Vengeful Spirit looking for the swap. Is G going to get swapped? He is. They want to keep G down early. Looks like he's going to go down. Nice raise. But in the end, effing Mad actually going to get the last hit here. Not too big of a deal. Sakshka is still farming quite well. He's got another 450 gold in the bank. They're looking for this mid tower. Does he have a point in the inner B-star? Still no points in it. I'm a little surprised, and in fact, he went for another point Wild Axes. I honestly feel like getting the R might be a better choice, but he's going for the reliable nuke. Certainly not a bad choice. He'll be able to get the R later on, but it would help them push a little bit more mid. Last hit on the tower, picked up by Sakshka. He's going to be happy with that. Speaking of last hitting, let's see how Black's doing. He's up to 104 creeps. He's actually still out farming the Shadow Fiend. Morphling can farm well, but honestly, you'd expect the Shadow Fiend with this good of a start to be a little bit ahead at this point, just because he can farm faster. His nuke's spammable, it's cheaper, and of course his damage is greater early on.
Well, I mean, I feel like Shadow Fiend is ahead, even though he's down by about 5-6 creep kills. He got an extra kill on the hero. He got a tower last hit, and all of those do add up for the Shadow Fiend. And he's going to be close to his Mithril Hammer very, very soon. Just 200 go away. Once that thing's up, we're going to be very short from a BKB. Maybe an 18-minute BKB if he's not going to get ganked. Meanwhile, we see a big push coming on the mid lane. Will this mid tower go down? I do believe it will, but right now Radiant's mounting a big defense. Glyph early use, and we do see Shadow Fiend, very brave TP. Here comes the EMP Tornado on the Winter. Do we have a roar? No, it looks like we have a stop on the Crystal Maiden. Crystal Maiden's going to get raised down immediately. The Vengeful Spirit in a little bit of trouble. Shaco Shot not going to latch. Winter got sent back. I do believe the mTw squad could push immediately on the other direction if they want to do so.
Yeah, Hand of God was used, and they did get that kill. Of course, Crystal Maiden, not the most important here to kill, but this early on, that level 4 Crystal Nova is great anti-push. So it's actually not that small either. They're going to be working on this middle tower. Let's see, nope. In fact, Sidran has got a point Exhort. He could use Alacrity on Sakshka if he wants to, but for now, going to be saving those crucial invokes for the more important crowd control spells. This is another thing to point out, is the Shadow Fiend will get even more buff from that invoker in the mid game and the late game. So another reason why this pick is working out nicely for them, or has the potential to.
I guess for 18-minute BKB, but Shastika says, you underestimate me. 16-minute BKB is up, and I think Blink Dagger would be a very strong choice. Or Manta Style is going to be fine as well. He's walking around, dealing some big damage, especially for this point in game. Finds himself a double damage rune. I feel like if they want to push any tower, they will get any tower.
Wow, how have the Radiant held on to their towers is my question. Shadow Fiend poured to the bottom lane with the DD rune. He's going to clean up the creep wave. Looks like Leshrac might want to make a go on him. I don't think that would be a very good idea. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, Santa going to be going down. Roar, Swap, Magic Missile, all used for that one kill. But this early on, that's fantastic, as they're probably not going to have too many engagements. So, meanwhile, on the bottom lane, Sakshka popped a BKB, solo killing G. Huge kill coming out for Sakshka. And I have to say, mTw weathered that early storm, and frankly, they've got the better mid-game lineup. And they're making use of it so far.
They definitely do. Whenever you have an aura-based lineup, you don't even need that much, plus damage items, because your aura will just give you that. You can actually just afford to go for survivability items and allow your aura to do the work for you. That was a fairly expensive kill in the sense that you did use a 10-second BKB charge just for a solo kill, but I think killing G is completely worth it. I think this is a good time to point out that in the matches that Dare lost in the Stars Series ladder, G always had underwhelming scores. I think with Furion he went like 7-10, which is not too good of a Furion score. He went 0-5 with a Queen of Pain. So if you keep G down, you effectively keep Dare down. There was
one loss they had where he went 7-2 on Storm. So it's not like he always does badly when they lose, but usually if G's doing well, his team is winning. He's certainly not having a fantastic start this game. I wouldn't say he's having a horrible start. He's getting the levels on Leshrac, but honestly, to be 1-2, and more importantly, only taking down one tower when you have a Chen as backup is really not what you're looking for. The push is commencing on the top lane. Sakshka is farming up on the bottom. He's almost got a Yasha, so the farm accelerating for him. In fact, he's got the Yasha now. Let's see if he joins his team. I think he can just continue split pushing. G can't even approach him right now.
Yeah, G's gotta be very careful because again, we saw Shadow Fiend how easily he could just walk up to G without fear of anything because BKB is available. G trying to counter push the bot lane. Meanwhile, their teammates trying to counter push top. I do believe this push will be stopped at least for now. mTw, can tend to get a little bit more farm. Invoker up to 22,000 go. I think he's gonna be going for a 4-staff. Would be a very good addition to his item build. But if you want to go for Yield Scepter or something else like that, it would be a good item as well.
Speaking of 4-staffs, Windrunner has picked up her recipe, but normally you don't see players getting the recipe before either of the components. The 4-staff components are not that expensive. This is just a sign of what a tough time Windrunner's having. As soon as Santa got the gold for that recipe, he's like, alright, I'm buying this. I want to have something, because there's a good chance I'm going to be dying again soon. He is 2 and 4 at this point, only 31 creeps. He's level 7, so he's got that max power shot, but definitely not the start he was looking for. I want to talk a little bit more about the BKB. Obviously, we've mentioned this farm is fantastic in Sakshka, but equally importantly, this BKB, there is no answer for it on the Dire. They have absolutely nothing that can go through that BKB. Sure, you've got the right-click damage on the Morphling, but it's going to be a long time before he wants to man up against the Shadow Fiend. So for now, Shadow Fiend is by far the strongest hero on the map, and this is where he gets really scary. He's solo pushing this lane. They can't even gank him. If they do, he can just BKB out. Meanwhile, there is a push on the top lane, but it looks like Dara's a little bit afraid to commit. Meanwhile, the bottom tower, Alacrity going on Sakshka, just going to go down for free. Nothing they can do about that. Another 1,600 gold going Sakshka's way.
He already has the Yasha complete, by the way. That's his 3rd tower being pushed down. So we're going to see a Mantis out in perhaps 21 minutes, 22 minutes. And then I think at that point, mTw will feel very confident, just go mid lane and get the racks or go for a Roshan engagement. They could get whatever they want at that point. Shaska is just simply too strong. You're absolutely right about the BKB, making him immortal, basically. If he gets ganked, he probably pops his BKB, kill one, and then TP out. Finds himself a haste rune, and uh-oh.
Oh,
watch
man.
out.
Hasted BKB Shadow Fiend that you have no stuns for. This could be scary. That may have been one of their thoughts when they picked up the Vengeful Spirit and the Beastmaster. 2 heroes that, I wouldn't say they're counters to Shadow Fiend, but they can really punish any sort of bad positioning. Of course, the auras are nice, but just as importantly, they denied those heroes to Dara if they wanted to go towards them. They're now not available. We talked a little bit about the synergy with the minus armor, with the auras, and another pickup for mTw. It's been up for a while. Did not have a chance to talk about it. Funzy's got a medallion, so even more minus armor going their way. Now he's about to... he's got to get points to Inner Beast Star at this point. I'm a little surprised he hasn't so far. Even choosing to max the Hawk.
Yeah, the Hog has been so far pretty effective. It's keeping his team from getting ganked, and it's not bad. As we see big engagement happening on the mid lane, they want Santa. Can they get Santa? Hand of God comes in. He's not going to get sent home. But here comes Invoker in the middle of everything, trying to drop a spell. Drama is not used just yet. Crystal Maiden is going to go down. Artstat will be going down very soon as well. The force that forward from Cinderin, and Artstat will be dead for sure. And that's 3 kill in the exchange of nothing. Shadow Fiend, by the way, wasn't even in the fight. He was just on the bot lane, denying a tower or, getting some last hit. Pops' haste stream will be going to Roach Pit, and here's where all the minus armor also becomes effective.
Man, they don't even need this Shadow Fiend. Roshan's already down to half health, but of course when Sakshka shows up, he's just going to absolutely melt. Roshan with minus 10 armor. That's not what Roshan wants. It looks like the Manta Style was picked up as well. Yep, Manta Style complete for Shadow Fiend. This game is quickly spiraling out of control. We actually have not taken a look at the gold graph yet. The game has been pretty action-packed, but we are seeing, unsurprisingly, a big lead for the Radiant. They're up to a 7,500 gold lead.
Actually, a smaller... I thought that lead will be a little bit bigger. It's only 5,000 at this point. I thought it should be somewhere around the 10,000, because this game feels a little bit out of reach here for their... Again, mTw and Cinderin showing the fact that they're not afraid to kind of pick strategies and heroes that no other hero frequently pick up. Shadow Fiend with the minus armor, with an aura-based strat. Not something we see commonly done.
Yeah, I was going to mention Morphling's got an interesting item build as he picked up the Perseverance, went back for the Asha, but he did complete his Lincolns now. One of the things to note here is while the gold lead is not that... there's not too much difference in terms of gold. For the Dire side, most of that gold is concentrated in Black's hands. And while Lincoln's is a nice spell for helping you farm, it's not going to allow him to man up in these team fights. Sure, you can block one disable, but they've got a lot more than one. They've got Cold Snap, they've got Tornado, which, the Lincolns will not block. They've got Roar, they've got Magic Missile, they've got Swap, they've got Enchantress Slow. Plenty of ways to disable Black. So for now, all you can do is split push. You can see that Dare feels very behind. They're not even thinking about defending their tier 2. Tornado coming down the middle lane. Crystal Maiden going to get caught. Pretty sure Crystal Maiden is dead. Dubat's going to take a couple more auto attacks. Axe is actually going to mix, but this is only miss. That's only delaying the inevitable. Some nice jukes coming out. Will she be able to get away? No, she will not. Roar being blown for that kill. I don't know if they needed that, but hey, they wanted to make sure they got it.
Yep, hey, the Crystal made it, use every spell for that CM. But they did defend that. They have the Aegis on Shastika. Manta is finished, plus another 1,400 gold. This is like watching one of those, is this an easy mode game for Shastika? It must be, because his gold is... Every time I look away, he's like, oh yeah,
another big item is picked up. He's sitting on another 1,400 gold. Of course, we mentioned the Manta style earlier. But this is where Shadow Fiend gets truly out of control. Now he's got some survivability. Manta actually gives you a lot of survivability as well as damage. He's got the BKB. Yep. He's already immortal. He can pick up lifesteal now, and then he can just right-click his way to victory in these team fights. They don't really have to wait too much longer. Honestly, I think pick up a Helm of the Dominator and everyone push mid. I don't see anything Derek can do to stop that push. Even with some hack shackle shots from Santa, who has finally hit level 9, so he will have a max shackle shot. I don't think it's going to be enough.
Yeah, the only way they have a chance is to burst down the Shadow Fiend before he pops the BKB, which, if you think about it that way, he's only got 1,600 HP, which is doable. You do have some big burst damage spells, so if you start a team fight with a Shackle Shot, you could, in theory, do it. But, I mean, you still have the defensive swap. You still have the Tornado picking up everyone in the air. You still have the Roar that not only stuns the target, but push everyone to the side as well. So I feel like mTw has the defensive squad to really make it work. But the gang is going to come out on top of here. G's going to get Roar. He drops down the HP so quickly. Can't even get D-Sun to drop his own BKB, but yeah, this is not looking good right now for Dare.
Yeah, Black in the meantime was like, see ya man, and replicated out of there. He had no interest in that fight, and I can't say I blame him, but when your carry has been farming for 25 minutes and still just has to run, that's never a good sign for your team. I wanted to mention the wards. A lot of them just died for Dare, but some very aggressive wards being placed. This is one of the advantages of getting those early towers. You're able to then place wards in the enemy jungle because the lanes are pushed and it becomes safe for you to do so. With those aggressive wards down, mTw can look to extend their advantage and really strangle Dare.
Yeah, speaking of wards and map control, one of our key point earlier was the early game map control, and it's not a surprise to me that Fonzie actually opted for the Hawk to make sure they do get the early game map control. I don't think mTw actually got ganked the entire game, aside from our south gank that happened in the mid lane. For the most part, every time they got ganked, they got immediate TPs and the counter ganks, and it worked out fairly fine as you see the man style gets pop Shastika, manning up against the tower, EMP Tornado drops you, drains the mana, and oh my god, Morphling and we're gonna have to go back right now, and that's precious time that Shastika's blowing hits on your tower. Centaur is gonna be suicide as well. And this tower is going to go down. Again, still BKB is available.
Nice
and it's going to go down. And blink of eye. Here comes she. Pops his BKB. He gets immediately Roar. And look at Shasta right click. 3 hits going to do it. And now Arstyle even getting ignored. If I forget the chant, let's go for the mid-racks. And that's the correct choice. Mid-racks is going to be going down. BKB was used. I don't think that was necessary. But hey, better safe than sorry. And, well, there goes the mid-racks, 26 minutes.
Normally when Leshrac pops the BKB, at least in the games we've been seeing recently, it's time for the enemy team to run. But in this case, they don't care. They just right-click him down. You see the power of that, right, of the minus armor, the power of that Shadow Fiend right-click, just completely negating the effectiveness of BKB. At the same time, he had to build one. He's up against a lot of stuns, but it's just not enough.
Yep. Eagle Song gets picked up here by the Shadow Fiend as his item, Ramping, continues to be out of control. Is that Creep Wave? See ya. It's coming. It's coming. 2 rays. Like 500 gold.
Yeah,
oh, come on.
Sakshka almost up to 600 gold per minute. That is some anti-mage Battle Fury style farmer. Furion rushes Hanamitis. Another swap initiation by effing Matt here. Great play. Tornado hitting 3. Oh, that's absolutely horrible for them. Sakshka doing the damage, right-clicking really hard. Black forced to back off. Santa on the retreat, and while a couple of them are going to survive, that's going to lead to another set of wrecks. mTw looking so strong. They still have the Aegis up on Shadow Fiend. There is just nothing they can do to stop this push.
The only thing I gotta fault mTw for doing is they have not used the Wrecking on Soul yet. Do not deny us for that new animation. I want to see how that thing looks like.
It looks pretty awesome. I have seen it. I'd expect to see a pop it here. BKB comes out, Requiem comes out. That drives everyone back. Black in a little bit of trouble. No, they're just going to ignore him and right-click this tower down. Tornado EMP. Oh, so much damage being done. Santa in trouble. Black in trouble. Black's going to go down. Sakshka maybe going to do a little bit more right-clicking, or is he going to go for the racks here? He's actually going to back off. He still has his Manta style, but in the end they got the melee racks. Actually, 2 melee racks, I should say. And they're going to be pretty happy with that. Look to back off. Artstyle running into the high ground. You do not want to do this against the Shadow Fiend. Oh, the right-click coming out so much right now. Black actually might kill him. Will he kill him is the question. Oh, the Manta-style Black's going to go down. Nice play by Sakshka. Bladed that like an absolute champ. GG's coming out from Darren.
And GG indeed it was. 24-8 in favor of the Radiant. Here comes all of this disconnect. We're going to give you the endgame screen. But that Shadow Fiend got free farm, and it was a free win, literally.
Wow, really well played by mTw. Of course, Dare is using a stand-in, or at least one stand-in here, but that's no excuse. You got to give mTw a lot of credit. It's no small feat to even take a game off Dare. Let's see if they can make it a series. They are going to be leading 1-0 as we go into game number 2. Dare all disconnected, going to be letting their racks die, or their throne die rather. Throne going to be going down momentarily. So 1-0 lead, good start for mTw.
Yep, again, just to like to remind everyone that mTw is currently leading in the Premier League as well, and they're looking into a very good position to continue to lead in a one-game lead over there. This is game number 1. We're coming with game 2 very, very soon. Don't go anywhere, guys.
Alright, I'm going to grab a glass of water after I join the game. I'm putting the splash screen up. Just 1 second, guys. I don't want to leak the password here. Okay, I will be right back.